President Trump is threatening to use his emergency powers as he tries to deploy National Guard troops from red states into blue states. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexandra Lewis.
And I'm Kyle Clark. The president now says he would consider invoking the Insurrection Act, a law from 1807 that allows the president to use military forces on American soil to put down a rebellion.
If people were being killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up, sure, I'd do that. I mean, I want to make sure that people aren't killed. We have to make sure that our cities are safe.
Today, leaders in Illinois filed a lawsuit challenging the president's plan to send National Guard troops from Texas into Chicago. Trump has argued that the troops are needed to fight crime in the city and ensure that federal immigration agents can enforce the law. Lawsuit comes a day after a Trump-appointed judge temporarily halted his National Guard deployment to an ICE facility in Portland, Oregon. The president is falsely claiming that that Democrat-led city is war-ravaged. The Insurrection Act was last used more than 30 years ago during the LA riots that followed the severe beating of Rodney King by police. As the government shutdown nears the 1-week mark, the Trump administration now admits that staff shortages of air traffic controllers are causing ground delays at some airports, including DIA. We'll dig into the latest on these airport issues coming up at 9:30.
Lookout Mountain was looking downright spooky today, the chilliest day of the week. 9 News Chief Meteorologist Kathy Sabin is here, and it was, nice little spooky day.
Yeah.
But tomorrow things get warmer.
Absolutely. And it is still kind of cloudy and chilly and rainy outside. We're hoping the showers move out and the sky's clear. We've got a big full harvest supermoon that's rising tonight. Today with the rain, there were a lot of beautiful pictures that came in on the digital network. The water, welcome, but it sure did make for kind of a gloomy Monday. Still some vivid color to be found in areas like northwest Teller County. And around the area, we're still tracking showers and cold temperatures. 40s from Fort Collins to downtown Denver, out to DIA and Greeley. Winds are light, but that easterly flow is keeping that moisture pushed right up against the foothills. So we continue to track showers moving from the southwest to the northeast. They're very light in nature. There's a few light foothill snow showers above 9,000 feet. No accumulation is expected, but just be aware there are some showers out there between now and midnight. Then there may be some areas of patchy fog. Then we're going to get a pattern shift that gets us back to sunshine and warmer weather starting tomorrow. Temperatures don't move a whole lot over the next few hours. Coming up in Maine weather, another check of the radar, how much more snow to expect in the high country, and details on a warmer weather forecast, including sunshine and temperatures in the 80s.
The city of Loveland is moving people living on the street in front of City Hall into a shelter of sorts tonight. The mayor controversially allowed some of them to come out of the bad weather last night and sleep inside City Hall. This started a week ago after the city closed its only overnight shelter for adults. Dozens of people staying there moved to outside the Loveland Municipal Center and set up what they called Camp Hope. When the rain and cold came through last night, the mayor opened doors of City Hall to let some people stay inside. Even some of the city council members who voted to reopen the shelter say the mayor's decision was a mistake.
She does not have that authority. And she did not have the permission of the city manager to do that, and was told by the city attorney, you are not authorized to do that. No counselor is authorized to bring people into any government building.
So do I need permission? I think I did what I should. I notified city manager, city attorney. I met with the city manager this morning, a very cordial meeting, and we acknowledged that he didn't say yes and he didn't say no.
Tonight, the city opened up the Loveland Resource Center for people to stay overnight, given the cold, wet weather. There's space for about 20 people inside, another dozen or so in tents outside. At that point, police came to sweep the encampment outside of City Hall, forced people who were left to pack up or get a ticket. Advocates tell us they don't think this setup is working.
We are hopeful that there will be a solution, but so far our city has done nothing but sabotage our homeless community, and it's been very detrimental.
Loveland City Council is set to again discuss short-term and long-term solutions at a meeting tomorrow night.
Nearly half of Larimer County renters are spending more than 30% of their income on housing. According to data from the American Community Survey, 52% of renters in Fort Collins, 46% in Loveland, and 43% in Estes Park are considered cost burden. That means they pay more than a third of their income on housing. The data is from 2023, but the senior housing manager from Fort Collins says it aligns with what they're seeing today.
how urgent of a need that we're really seeing in the community. We know that it can't be handled by one city, by only the county, by only nonprofit organizations. It really does have to be a collaborative, countywide, community-wide effort.
In response, Larimer County and local nonprofits are conducting a regional housing needs assessment, hoping to find long-term solutions to this growing issue.
The city of Aurora will consider whether to let the police department there use facial recognition technology to help identify potential suspects. Let's bring in 9 News reporter Janelle Finch now. And Janelle, in a meeting today, some council members had questions.
Yeah, before council members at large voted to move the item forward, they discussed facial recognition misidentifying people. This has been a national conversation topic about racial biases in technology leading to wrongful arrests. Aurora Police may soon get assistance from a new department member. Facial recognition AI, APD, says the technology will increase productivity, helping them solve more crimes.
The end result of that is that the community is safer.
The department proposed using AI to city leaders, but it wasn't without some questions from council members.
It's not hard to find, news stories of people being unlawfully detained after being identified incorrectly via the use of AI technology. What safeguards do we have in place to prevent that from happening? Back in April of last year, the ACLU found at least 7 wrongful arrests were made in the U.S. due to incorrect facial recognition results.
I'm not surprised at all to hear that, not one bit.
Dr. Ellis Monk is a sociology professor at Harvard. He says his research in skin tone related biases can be applied to facial recognition.
Are these systems going to be as accurate for people of color, darker skinned people, as they will be for non-whites or lighter skinned people? That's the first question.
APD addressed bias and accuracy in a report claiming every potential match would have multiple rounds of human review.
And then we take it a step further. Never would a match on a photo be the only piece of evidence that would take us to that point of probable cause that we get to when we arrest someone.
Dr. Monk says if more police agencies add AI to their department rosters, the public should be involved beyond just their photos in a database.
To the extent that these things are going to be adopted, transparency is definitely going to be important going forward. The department is considering 2 facial recognition platforms. One program is already in use by Arvada PD. The other claims to have an over 99% accuracy rate by the National Institute of Standards and Technology. Aurora City Council is expected to discuss this at their next meeting in 2 weeks. Janelle Finch, 9 News.
The Bueno Center for Multicultural Education, CU Boulder, is facing an uncertain future after losing more than $3 million in federal funding. The center got notice last month that 2 federal grants would be discontinued. This impacts the College Assistance Migrant Program and a master's degree program for rural educators.
In the letter, it said that it was discontinued because one of the activities, a workshop that we were doing, didn't align with the current administration priorities. We've never had this happen like this before. I mean, we were already awarded the money. I think that's the frustrating and disappointing part.
Funding cuts impact approximately 700 students and teachers. CU Boulder has provided bridge funding to get them through June. The center is still searching for long-term solutions to continue serving those first-generation college students and rural educators.
There's now a smaller window to talk to a human being through Denver's 311 call center. That's a non-emergency line that helps Denverites navigate city services. 311 will now be available from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays. That's trimmed by 2 hours. The city and county says these changes are meant to align with their new budget. To make up a $200 million deficit, the city got rid of 1 filled and 9 vacant 311 customer service agent positions. Denver is now encouraging people who need help from 311 outside of this new hours to use its AI chatbot called Sunny.
A week after CU Boulder was hit with a fine for students yelling offensive chants at BYU players and fans, CU's going to take some action.
They say they're going to step up their security, even adding undercover officers in the stands to keep students in line. 9 News reporter Rachel Krause reports from Boulder.
I think it was a little bit of an overreaction.
It's been more than a week since the CU Buffs fell to BYU. At the game, some students in the stands crossed a line.
It was only a select group of people that were, making some interesting remarks, but I would say the overall majority of people were respectful. But I mean, that's how sports goes in college, especially, People are going to be disrespectful, but that's kind of part of the tradition, if you ask me. People are going to
be how people are in the student section. And for someone who was at the game, I think that the things that were said were maybe blown a little bit out of proportion. I thought, if anything, it was a lot worse last year when we were freshmen in the student section.
Videos showed Buffs fans hollering religious slurs and chanting expletives at BYU, a faith-based school supported by the Mormon Church. The next morning, a man attacked a Mormon church in Michigan, killing 4 people and injuring 8 others. The days to come, CU was slapped with a $50,000 fine and promised it won't happen again. CU is making changes. They're stepping up the number of people working security, even putting plainclothes police officers in the stands. And they're adding more tech to make it easier to monitor fan behavior during games. Fans found misbehaving could get tossed from the games and possibly not allowed back in the rest of the season.
I was reading the email through and I thought that some of the policies that they're adding into the football games might have been a little more aggressive than probably was needed.
I think it's a little tough to put all these restrictions on the students just because, a few bad people, made some weird decisions.
CU Athletics says these changes will allow them to proactively address fan behavior at football games and shows they're taking the issue seriously. Students say the changes won't keep them away from Folsom, not on game day.
Absolutely not. Ready for Iowa State.